So that is something that came up during one of the panels, and it was mentioned in passing by Dr. Jan when he mentioned this, not in passing, purposefully, by Dr. Jan yesterday during the opening remarks, especially the work in Uganda. And then later, after that, we had our leaders, the Senate, from the Senate and the National Assembly, Senator Shiro and Honorable Rosotsi, and they really gave quite a lot of input on regulation, the work going around regulation at the National Assembly, the challenges they may be facing, and also asking us to participate in terms of petition, and it was captured. So I know the rapporteurs may have more information. I'm just going to skip through so that I bring us back to speed, not to discuss. And then we had that I bring us back to speed, not to discuss. And then we had the discussion from the Digital Alliance, the presentation from Benedict on the lesson of study in virtual products in Kenya, which is something that really had the documents that we have here, and I could see from the morning, it shows people going to read that document, and we got a lot of good feedback even coming a day after, which is a very good sign. And while then, Walubengo from Strathmore represented the framework on business and social market economy. Which framework does East Africa need for its digital markets? And I think this is part of the conversation that triggered the earlier statement on if this work could be taken at East African level. Well, then the panel discussions focusing on the framework for virtual markets, challenges and solutions, where we had Professor Wagudo and then Ali from internet. And I think we had the one from Professor Ezra Mogambi taking us through the issue of HDR, human resource, HRD, sorry. Human resource development in ICT and the need for us in ICT. In the afternoon, we had a panel discussion, which is focusing really still on the East African region, but also there was quite a lot of looking at the legal frameworks, and we had even Professor John who had participated in an exchange program still on ICT. With us in Germany, giving us some experiences and also trying to bring comparative basis. And I think that was for yesterday. So for today, our memories are still fresh, I know. Open lesson, it's been a great discussion with Walter. And the two discussions, the panel discussions in between, mainly on the internet as a tool for democratic debates, digital markets and privacy, the conversation we just had, and also there are other discussion points as we prepare towards going to the session on action planning on MIFWA. Maybe I'll ask Barak and Andrew a bit just to give a bit of more, something, a bit of that in some close before we invite Grace and Tajan to help us in the action plan. I want to because my voice is misbehaving a bit.
Thank you, Charles. I think yesterday, as we were winding up the day, we discussed a number of action points or a potential or a possible way forward. One suggestion that was made was to actually look into possibilities of having some research around digital markets in Kenya. I think we had a presentation from Digital Alliance in the morning, and this suggestion was just somewhere because we realized in the afternoon that even as we discussed, we could not quantify the digital market in Kenya. What are we, if we are asked what is the size of this market, we don't have answers. So that is one of the proposals that was made. Another proposal that was made by Dr. Mwencha, who has actually done a study on e-commerce. He touched a bit on it yesterday, but unfortunately we've not had an opportunity for him to be able to present on the same. Was that there's a meeting that is coming up in December at the United Nations. I believe that will be discussing issues related to digital markets, and he actually proposed if we can have a side event as an outcome of this activity that we have done in this meeting. As part of that, there was also a proposal. From time to time, we've had a number of participants asking whether internet could take on some particular lead roles, probably form a working group that will, going forward, look into some of the suggestions of a research or the side event that we have at the United Nations to make sure that it has worked. So I think these are some of the key issues that I picked from the conversation that we had yesterday, and I believe even as we come to the end of the event, we'll hear from Grace. Sorry, Grace.
Yes, that the rapporteur, who was actually following the conversation, should just give us a summary.
Probably, Charles is also reminding me there was a proposal of a policy brief as an outcome of this activity or some of the issues that we've discussed here. So I think without further ado, I'm moving into the way forward section. We will get to hear from Dr. Yan from CAS on whether some of the proposals or suggestions that were made are viable from the meeting that we just had, and also from a internet perspective, what can we do in the short term and what can we do in the long term with respect to some of the issues that Charles has raised and also the points that I have mentioned, which we discussed yesterday. So I think I'll invite you here, Dr. Yan, and I'll invite you here, Grace, as well, so that we can look at the way forward and then we can conclude.
Yeah, thank you, Barak. And as Dr. Yan and Grace come to take their seats, I think this is not conclusive what you just discussed. Part of action planning actually right now is to involve all of us in discussions of what you think we can do. So it is not done and busted, and so we welcome your views. And this is the point where we really call for more inputs from all of us on what we can do to concretize these discussions, take it forward, and see from here the conference does not just become a standalone, but becomes maybe a catalyst for future action, so that we are able to move forward. So it is not only the things you mentioned. We welcome to bring good suggestions. So that's what I wanted us to let you know.
Actually, I would also have gone with his suggestion on public participation, and also just before we give the position of the organization, to also just hear from the participants whether this is something that is sort of ratified by all the people who attended.
Before we do that, I would be glad to share some also of the restrictions we as CAS are having. No? Sometimes good proposals are coming and I don't want to just say no, we can't, but can you inform that you don't come up with new good ideas that just will tell you can't do this. So we are, first of all, for this year, 2018, as we normally work, we do a plan of activities at the beginning of the year, have a budget that fits to that, and then have activities already planned. That means it's difficult for us, because already September, to factor in lots of new activities, because we doesn't have money for them left over. So it's difficult for us just to plan rather big and expensive activities still for this year. The second of all, it's important to understand that we are not a donor organization, like for example GLZ would be, or USA to just give money for activities. We implement our activities in partnership with our partners, so we will be involved, we will take part in planning, and it would need to fit also our objectives. So it's difficult for us, for example, to just fund some activity which may be good for the idea, but does not necessarily fit to our activities. It's a reminder that we have these restrictions and that we can only do what the German law allows us to do with the money we're getting from Germany. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so I think I'll open the floor to presentations. Begin from again. Of course. Thank you for the opportunity. First of all, I'd like to thank KAS for sponsoring this event, and for COVID-19. Fantastic 2 days. Listening to what the different speakers and panelists and also the actors. I wouldn't say much now. I think my proposals are on record. I would say that we probably need, or rather we really need the working groups to be set up so that we can be able now to create capacity for what we've been, for those issues that have been identified as gaps in the virtual or the internet economy in Kenya. So for me, my background in academia and research, that's something that I would propose to have one that is specifically tied to research. That's something Kipkulei has been considering. Then secondly, again, is just reiterate again the Africa e-commerce week that will be in December from the 10th to 14th of December here in Nairobi. And this is something that I think KS have taken it and we to see whether it can happen. Maybe I'll respond later, but that's all I have for now. Thanks. Thank you very much. Where are the hands?
Maybe just to follow up, because you were kindly incorporating a little bit one of these suggestions that we had about the working groups. So in my mind, what really can be very powerful is that combination that we were just talking about of academia and practitioners, then really trying to identify topics where you can create, or what I would call public goods. Yeah? And of course, everyone involved could do the research themselves, but it would be more costly comparatively to everyone's size, and maybe the output not as valid. And I think topics where the creation of public goods would make particular sense are really understanding, on the one hand, understanding what's going on in Kenya. And yes, I think the size of the digital economy is something interesting and important to petition politicians and talk about the relevance of the sector. But what I think is even more important for the sector itself is understanding in better detail and with as up-to-date data as possibly we can source via people like Safaricom, the Statistics Office, and whoever is out there, and really crowdsourced from member institutions themselves, is really a kind of landscape mapping of the Kenyan digital sphere. Who are the users? How many of them are there? In which locations? What is their socio-economic profile? What's their age profile? How are they using digital? Those kind of ideas, so that whatever great ideas come up out of this circle and the wider one, to the actual needs of Kenyans, and not just a great idea that whose time might not have come yet. And then secondly, links to the outside world, it's a kind of trend watching. Really having maybe geographically sorted or by industry sectors, people assigned who will then report back on what has been going on this last quarter, which innovations have come out of the rest of the world, which business models seem to be taking off well, so that Kenya can really be in an excellent position in the entrepreneurial energy in this one, and in all of Kenya, for seizing on those opportunities early and not wait until they trickle down to Kenya or someone else from abroad comes and tries to seize the market. I think in these two areas there's tremendous potential for cooperation and creating such public goods to make the entire sector more successful.
Thank you very much.
Of interest to me was the topic of capacity building for general public in order to use the internet as a tool for democratic debates. The biggest gap in our democratic space is information, and conversations around open data is important for the Kenyan society because number one, it is almost impossible to hold leaders to account because of the things that we do not know that we need to know. So even just conversations around public participation goes around how is it possible for us to creatively use internet penetration information in terms of who's using the internet, who's using phones, who has smartphones around us. And sometimes we assume that people at the base of the pyramid, especially in peri-urban and rural areas, do not have this kind of information. But then we can also leverage on above the line kind of media, maybe radio and TV, to get this information to them, because most of the people in the rural and peri-urban areas get the information from businesses. But being creative around using the internet also involves a lot of conversations with stakeholders in the democratic space. So even as we form working groups, it will be important for us to know who are the people who will be sitting in the room for this information to get to them.
Mainly on those two key areas. The first one is to do with trends, what's going on in terms of trends, technologies, what is happening. And the second one would be you put it in terms of sectors, because you do realize that every sector has its own innovations that are coming up, and this would form a perfect setting to discuss those things, more so from our perspective as Kenya. So I think, just to echo the sentiments that were shared there, we need also to have this kind of sessions that are geared towards maybe those two things, because trends, people can get carried away and they don't know how to optimize them. And then by sector, you will actually, know this is more of a priority. We talk about healthcare, we talk about another sector. So that will be my piece of advice. But well in so far.
Just to add on, yesterday I was discussing with Benedict regarding the formalization of this commerce, or what you can call digital economy space. And his view was that we probably need to have a digital, I think he called it a digital economy association or something of the sort, whereby you would have all these different stakeholders or players who have been impacted by, or who are going to be impacted by the digital disruption, to come together and engage and collaborate. And some of these issues would be
in a way, more effectively addressed as part of an association. That is probably a long-term goal, which Kipkulei can spearhead. Kipkulei can spearhead, but at the moment, I think we can still work under the auspices of Kipkulei, but that should be probably one of the policy outcomes in the near future, to have an association whereby all these industry groups can belong to and can be able, which can now bring people together, similar to KEPSA or Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Thanks.
For hands, and there was one gentleman who was sitting with us yesterday, and he mentioned something about, I think, ongoing regulations, development of process that we need to participate at the public participation level. Who remembers this? It was in the evening session. Maybe I'll check with the rest because I think he made a good point that if you get the exact details, then it can be a subject of problem.
My suggestion was to keep it. Next year we're going to have a census. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, at this moment we don't know whether they know how much data they're going to collect and the value of that data. So at this point, I'm asking, since Ali will say Kipkulei gives early warning systems. So not necessarily because that I feel we're in a crisis as Kenya that we need to talk to Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, but again it would be good to engage them. 10 years ago we didn't have things of data and issues of data coming up, but 10 years later, this is 2018, 2019. Data is like the latest gold mine, and yet they're going to collect our data. So I don't know what systems they have in their side, but according to what systems they have, maybe Kipkulei can go ahead and engage them on matters of data because yeah, we need to engage from that point. Thank you.
Mine is just a comment around the way we're saying we're learning from what's happening in, sort of say, the global north. We need to contextualize what it is we're putting forth into the Kenyan market because we can't borrow in totality what's happening out there because our context is very different. And that's a consideration that we should put into account when we're coming up with solutions for this specific market. Then there's also the issue of open data. So one of the things that comes to mind for me is capacity building. We're talking about a lot of open data and access to it, but do enough people know how to use this data? Do they know how to get insights from this data? I think now it's a question of building capacity around, how to use this data effectively to sort of inform political discourse, policy formulation, and all those other things that can come from using that data. Yeah.
All right. The running don't smoke in the rooms.
I could also challenge the participants to also think widely beyond what Kipkulei can do or what CAS can do, but also what participants here. We have media represented here. Is there something that is a good outcome from this meeting that should be taken forward by the media? So for putting you on the spot. Yeah, so let's also just think widely beyond what CAS or Kipkulei should do and include this as outcomes of this meeting.
And maybe exactly in that vein, to follow up on the association idea. So while Kipkulei might be able here to play a helpful role as a catalyst also, and until something like this exists, also play his role like it does already for policy dialogue. The great power of an association is that You'll have people who can set aside time and who maybe are also personally and mentally predisposed to engage with politics. Not everyone likes that. Yesterday, we heard a lot about petitioners. Bring your ideas into politics. It's not a Kenyan phenomenon, but I think around the world, certainly in my home country as well, a lot of people don't want to engage in local politics. Yeah? But it is necessary to get stuff done. And that was a little bit the background by saying, let's for this moment not do an e-commerce association, for instance, but let's keep it as wide as possible. Because you then only need a critical mass of maybe 15, 20 institutions and people get together, form this, sign a charter, and 1 or 2 persons there who are willing to spend a little bit of their time and engage with politics. And then momentum really can start to get going, and other people will attach to it later on. So that was a little bit the thinking behind what we were referring
to. Challenge was thrown in. I was also thinking about something. I don't know. You respond on the political lady.
Thank you. As media, that space is there. If you feel like you need to push on something that is really burning, I've done that since. We've had meetings with such people in regards to issues about the internet. But on the other hand, I may not be the person to push it, but I'll send it to someone else and I will push that agenda for you. But yesterday, after the honorables came out here, it's good that you brought them here. And I've had something that for a long time I have asked myself, until when are we going for electioneering period peacefully, results relayed peacefully without any issues? I had a question to Honorable Ototi yesterday in regards to some legislations that they are working on. And I asked him, are we expecting 2022, after the election, Kenyans will go the same route, fight each other just because there were some issues at the National Talent Center? But this one, he said that we are working on that. We don't want to see such occurrences in 2022. But on your end, as Conrad, maybe you can also try and push on our behalf. We don't want to see these skirmishes after every electioneering period. There's something I believe you guys can do in regards to good governance and the rule of law. If you can help our members of parliament at least to understand the legislations that they are formulating, take these votes which were given out here. Maybe in 2022 you will not see people fighting each other because so and so is the winner, or because IEBC failed in 2017 election, but 2018 they had to up their game. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Votes and support.
Thank you for the opportunity. This is time particles for the invites. I have a few thoughts I wish to share. Kofi Annan says knowledge is power. Elect. Thank you. Yeah, Kofi Annan, the late, says knowledge is power, and the information is imperative. Education is the premise of progress in society. Looking at technology, I believe technology is no man's land. A few years ago, poster was how we provided a way of us sending physical mail. And then came Yahoo. And then we started slowly and progressively moving away from poster. Then came Gmail. And now I can inbox you, tap you. I can't remember the last time I used the box unless you're doing registration business. So I believe technology is no man's land and for evolution now, or by evolution. And the most interesting thing about this frontier is that it has changed dynamics of operation in the sense that we have to work together in all facets, from education to legislation to across the board. And the feel I'm getting constantly anytime I'm engaging in this conversation is that there is need for involvement of both government and the private sector in the sense that we can't develop in a defragmented state. The government cannot have one of its arm progress as far as technology is concerned and this other arm is suffering and we don't know why, and then when we start taking stock we realize, oh, we need to do this, it costs time, it costs money. So the feel I get, we should have more of these conversations and we should not get tired because it will bring to light a lot of gaps and it will also bring to light a lot of opportunities that are there to work together across the board. And then secondly, just to highlight a few things, there's the blockchain technology, which in its sense, there is where we're going. If we are to embrace the theme of working together, a lot of things will be placed there and information will be accessible to everyone and we will actually have security in a sense. This is just to give an example of the beauty of actually bringing everything on board. However, I am not demeaning the stage in which we are or ignoring its work. But all in all, I think for me, I am grateful, and my point is we actually should have more of this. Thank you.
Yes.
I'd like to emphasize Ali Mansour's point in terms of journalism and open data. There's nothing as important to journalists as having information they need, because as it is now, journalists in their space have been seen to have the he said, she said kind of conversation. So it's never backed up by data, and whenever it is, sometimes it's because they call it investigative journalism. So it's not supposed to be ordinary that we will get this. So just fact finding for them and all this information, if aggregated into their space and into their work, will be very important for them.
Thank you. I think I'll take it back to high power elevation, high power panel.
Maybe also just to remind us what Kipkulei is and what we are able to do. We are a multi-stakeholder platform, and if you go to www.kipkulei.org.ke, if you search the business app, you'll be able to see the kind of work we do as regards the platform. We have discussions that we finally translate into information for policymakers. At the same time, we are also doing policy research to inform or to shape policy. So, for example, Dr. Monita, I know you've really been interested in doing something, some information that is Afrocentric, that is representing a very authentic point of view from people who are here, so that it's easy for policymakers to digest it and make the right decisions. Some of the things that have been said here can find a place in Kipkulei, and the Kipkulei is also a network.
And what happens is that everybody who has something to champion just find a space where they can champion it. So some of the things that have been said, things that can be done on the space, like raising more awareness, because and this is not to give a vote of thanks. One of the things from this conference we've noticed is that we have just been putting words out there, but we didn't really have a common understanding of what these words mean. We talk of digital markets, but we are not really, we have never really sat down to pick what do these terms mean, what are the implications of digital markets for employment and food quality of life. We talk of open data, but in a very closed sense. We think of it as, oh yeah, the document of data is part of the open data partnership. So one of the things that we can obviously do as Kipkulei, with all of you who can join Kipkulei, is to create more awareness by making use of what we have learned from this collaboration and putting it in a way that is more palatable for the masses. So we can also offer the space and host working groups, and we have done this in the past. From 2016 to 2017, we had a working group on internet and elections, and this way we were able to do advocacy against internet shutdown, and the group mutated to data protection working group, and it is this group that is advocating for a data protection law. So that is something that we can really do well. Then on also bringing together academia and practitioners, academics in the group. Dr. Wencha, we have Dr. Omboi at their own, and many others, upcoming academics, research institutions. We have CPs who wanted to be here but could not be present today. So that is something that is doable. Research is also something that is doable. Trend watching is something that we also have the capacity to do. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that many of the suggestions that have been given are things that are quite actionable within our different programs and sprints, and we can also sit and discuss what is workable in the short term or in the longer term. Maybe what is a more important point is getting champions, because it's very easy to promise, yeah, that we'll do that, we'll do that. It's what is more important is getting champions to lead the work. So, for example, if we say that we want to have working groups, what is really important is also to have somebody who will carry that dream, in my view. And we have examples. A few years ago, we had a meeting in security, and one of the gentlemen who was here before, Victor Kapio, really championed the issue of cybersecurity to a point that we now have very good research on cybersecurity, and we were able to give really good input to the cybercrime field. And even as we go forward, the suggestion that has been given on very specific suggestions, like for example, engaging the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, noted, and we shall take that up and try to understand more, give more information that we can also link up with media to see how the things we learned about open data, how we can get the best with this upcoming census. On the issue of, there's one more issue that I created to speak on. Okay, if it comes back, I will address it when it comes back. But just to assure you of commitment to multi-stakeholder policy dialogue where we are interested in hearing every point of view and translating this into the one that is the best for public interest. And dialoguing with each other so that together we come to the best what can be best for the Kenyan public interest. So we can follow up with the how you draw the log and then put who's going to be responsible. Like put a point of reference just to make it as actionable as possible. We can follow up with after this meeting, just people who are points of reference to see how this dialogue can go forward. So that would be our commitment as Kipkulei.
Yeah, that was really very likely, so I think there's one more relation. And I think one really important point is that we make sure that that us, Kipkulei, and also other people in the room are different organizations. So I think in many cases it makes sense that everybody works on the issues he or she is the strongest in, and that we just think to come together when we think we can achieve more together. Because also it takes some effort to coordinate and see what can be done together. So in many cases it's good not to duplicate activities, but to see we can do this, we do that, and the others do that. That's why I also would be aware that you propose that you do kind of matrix, everybody says I'm doing this and that. So I understand the way that you said you would propose in such a matrix in such a way that we can have it. Right?
Yes.
Yes? Great. That's, I think it's good that maybe we give us 2 weeks or something like that, everybody who wants to take part in this comes back. Internet also be discussed, will also write what we can do just now. That we have really action planning, and but we will also get the time frame in this matrix. And we also see you can do this activity until then when we can control it has happened. Just in the order I wrote it down, to bring together efforts on a least ethical level. I mentioned that in my opening remarks yesterday morning. People that came late can't know it, so I just repeat that we will have a CAS conference in Uganda, I think in end of October or beginning of November, where we also would we're invited to bring some people from this conference to the conference in Uganda to connect the developments in the East African region. And I said to discuss with my colleague in Kampala to know about how they plan this, and then we will come back to the internet to see how we can identify people that could come to Uganda and strengthen news from Kenya in an open debate. I think these issues will also help for things like from 17 don't happen again after elections. That I think local engagement of people in politics is important. That I can do something locally. It's not just somebody who decides something and maybe gives me some presents, but I can do something locally. And then out of local engagement, we can expect that also engagement on a council national level can follow, and people feel that they have some control and they have also some means to get engaged in politics. So we would like to develop such a program, and I would invite all of you to help us and to define goals and learn materials for them. The same is true for the use of open data for accountability, for the ability of the normal citizens to control what government is doing, may it be locally, may it be on the national level. I'm not sure if we can develop or help make it easier to use open data for the normal person. In the training program, I've just sketched out if you need to do something different. Because one learning from me from this meeting is that there is lots of data available. Even in Kenya, obviously, there are lots of databases that have lots of content that can be used, but there are only few people that know how to do it. So if you can come to a certain rebuild certain tool that makes it easier for everybody to access open data. And there I'm not the person that knows how to do it, but I think it would be a really important tool for democratic processes in Kenya. So I would be glad that we as CAS can help develop such a thing. If it would be train people to use it better, or if it's possible to program something, some code that makes it easier to filter data. I ask you as experts on this to help me understand it better, and then we together can try to develop something that makes it easier to find data and to use it. On working groups, I think Kipkulei is in many places in a better position than us to organize working groups, especially on more technical issues. I would still be glad if we could also host working groups on issues that touch on democracy in our office. So I could imagine that 2 or 3 times a year we would come together with maybe 15 to 20 stakeholders on one topic and discuss it, connect it to the internet, social media, data use, and of course democracy, which is always the core of our activities. I also wrote down the census. I also agree that the census next year would be something really interesting and maybe some key development for the use of open data, because data is collected in huge quantities. So I think we should try to find out a way how to advocacy and lobby for that these data are made publicly accessible as much as possible. And I think the time to start about the census now, because the census is next year in September. So the laws and that would define how to carry out the census would be defined out now. So it's time to lobby on this now. That can also there we could always use our networks that we have in politics to identify the key people to address, and to help also to address them and to lobby for a good use of this data.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about this digital association that Dr. Mancha had mentioned about. I think if out of this gathering here, if people came together to form their own people associated in order to lobby better, or I think for the organizations that organize this workshop, we will say, wow, we were able to achieve some of our objectives. And also to point out that from all the panels, we had people talking about existing associations that are in this space, that are looking at different aspects. I know there's legal hackers that looks at the law and cyber. There's the digital, I forget what they were called, Ali and Kipkulei, who are talking about the one that's looking at fintech issues. So there's always all the space to either collaborate with them or create new ones or merge existing ones. There's always all the space for that kind of organic association. I think what is really key for me and what I just reiterate to CAS and what has been a really big takeaway for Kipkulei was the learning. I think it's really, really difficult to have meaningful policy dialogue if you're not having the capacity yourself. So the fact that this conference was peppered with sort of classes where we actually sat down to learn about digital markets or sat down to learn about open data, that is a really big takeaway, and I'm sure most of you will agree with me that the capacity building component in these 2 days was something that would really help in future engagements and even shaping policy in the future. So even the working groups would really be helped with all this learning. We are now in a position where we can start to chart thematic areas where people can start working on and start trying to influence policy. So thank you so much to CAS for especially that part of the especially that part of the program.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tazan. This is one of the things that maybe just to keep us through. Yesterday, when our leaders were speaking about ongoing legislative processes, Parliament and asked if, as stakeholders in the ICT sector, we could participate in terms of doing petition or even memoranda. I remember particularly also mentioned the ICT practitioners bill that is currently before Parliament. So I don't know if you could think around pursuing, engaging in that process.
Yes, we of course do that. So as I said, we were talking about the networks we could use to bring the process forward, not only for the census. Of course, we can't have I think a good, not a perfect, would be better, but still a good network within Parliament and also local governments and to other politicians. So we can always try to have the politicians inside and involved and try to bring discussions that maybe would stay working groups into the political sphere. So of course, we would be very much.
Yes, we have also had previous engagements, and we would be, in fact, for the ICT practitioners field, I think the overall feeling within Internet, especially when it was introduced the last time, was a no-no, and I think what we learned from that process was that we also need to engage meaningfully, and so people are putting their cards in order, and we'd be glad to partner with them, CAS, and to make use of CAS's resources in that area to influence that policy.
I think that is actually discussed, and also the outcomes, and outlining also some of the things that are actionable, what needs to be done, and calls for action. So we are at the tail end, actually, that's almost finishing, and this is to thank all of us for really participating and giving us very good views on this active engagement. So it's good, I did not ask you to leave, because as the bosses in the House, the governors contribute to now declare this meeting closed, and then we go and handle the logistics. So it still comes back to you again.
Let me now come on behalf of Grace Gidaiga, who is our convener. She could not be here with us because of other engagements. And use this opportunity, first of all, to thank all of you for your participation in this conference, and also for all those who provided resources in one way or another for providing the resources. As I said, Internet is a multi-stakeholder platform for people and institutions interested in ICT policy making. It's an open platform, and anybody who's interested in even just silently following the conversations, I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you. My colleague Barak here, whom you saw before, but in case you don't know him, Barak, if you could please. If you're interested in joining Kipkulei or knowing more about what's happening there, please see Barak. We try to be as privacy respected as possible, so if you want, you can subscribe to the list by giving your email. We're having a very interesting discussions. Currently, we're discussing the issue of Ketraco. Everybody know Ketraco? Ketraco. Those are the bigger people for electricity. Yeah, so they have this idea of fiber over the power line, or I don't know what it's under. But it's been an ongoing discussion, and people are wondering were we always back to this point of discussing access? We had another one called North B. We had one time Kenya Power was also doing cable over power lines. Everywhere you go in Nairobi, people are digging to bring in fiber optic cable. But how come with all those efforts, there's still no broadband in people's homes at an affordable rate? So that's one interesting discussion that's going on, and another interesting one that's going on is about legacy for data, for personal data. What should happen when people die? Should this data be inherited like all other property, or no? Africans only like getting children who are anyway. Keeping in mind that that's a really interesting discussion, and it's going probably to influence the data protection bill that's ongoing, because it's silent on what should happen. It's silent. The bill is not very clear on whether there is property in data and whether now that data can be inherited. And I hope that has enticed you to to maybe take an interest and look at the platform. Other than that, to say that this was a really useful partnership with CAS. When we started just discussing about digital markets, I think we had our own ideas of what that means, and they may have had their own ideas of what that means, and then with sitting down and listening to so many points of view, it's very, like today at lunchtime, we had a more common understanding of digital markets, and we had a broader understanding of what open data means. And we had, for example, on Twitter with Julie, we were having this discussion, and maybe all this time we've been talking about open information, and we are not going to actual data. We are just thinking about finished products, but what if we are talking about the data so that we could make products out of it? And so we are really made for all the discussions we've had, and I'm not going to be those Africans who say, or those people who say, yeah, I'm just going to say something small. No, but I'm going to, I'm going to actually end it here by just registering my gratitude for this opportunity that we've had, and hoping that this is not the end, but the beginning of more dialogue on digital markets and open data. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. And because listening to you, I think it made clear again that it was with you. Also, all these details you just mentioned about upcoming bills and ideas. I don't know these things, so it's really good to have you on board to help us with really understanding what happens in the digital space in Kenya and what developments we have here. I hope that we can also be as useful to you with our experience in democracy and politics, that we can really build this together, that we will have the outcomes we were looking for. So I'm really positive that we are in a good way. And I'd also like to thank all of you to have been here. I think it was really an engaging discussion. Lots of knowledge around the table, lots of people that already work on the issues we like to look deeper into. So as I just said, when we did the planning, we are committed to especially work on the aspect of making more people, especially young people, able to use the internet and open data to work on their issues and their topics in local politics, but also could also be on larger scale politics. And I'm really happy that we have this matrix in which we will write down what we would like to do. That will definitely also help us to see what will the others do, and can we maybe form teams, and where can we bring in our experience best. I was really happy with the discussion we had on Twitter. And if I didn't do it well, now please follow us on Twitter and also on Facebook. You may of course like us. What I especially liked was the Twitter handle Open Data Taylor Swift. I don't know what that is. And if you look at that in the beginning, I didn't understand the tweets, but at the end it's really funny. Yeah? So I like Open Data Taylor Swift. You can do what, yeah? So it was somebody who was quite creative, but yeah. I like this very much. So thanks. And also the bots with us in the internet space. Yeah, that's mainly it. So I would be glad that we'll meet again in different settings and forums and groups that we can really work on what we can do best and come together when there's need and when it's good. So that we invite also for working groups and try to coordinate our work with Kipkulei, so that we also not just run and do something, but coordinate the work so that it's more effective. This being said, I thank you a lot, wish you a good weekend, and declare this meeting closed.
Thank you very much, Mr. John. Yes. The meeting is closed officially. There's some bit of housekeeping and announcements. So, let's continue the conversation on Twitter. Let's keep it going. And also for the survey, I remind us again that the link is there, so please make sure that you try also to participate. And before you leave, there is also tea outside. There is nobody else to drink it. It's ours. And before you leave, there is a desk behind us where we just have a small transport reimbursement for all of us. So make sure you pass by there and see Lynette and yes, yeah, we have a chief from us behind us. So thank you very much. Bye. Yeah, not for us. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. God bless you. Hope to see you again. And this has been a great event. I've been your moderator, Charles Kipkulei. Yesterday, Dr. John was telling them